leaving the fourth and final movie that opened wide this week. That would be Downhill, starring Will Ferrell, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Her character's name was Billy. Interesting name for a gal like Billie Jean King, if you think of. Married couple with their family, their two young boys and them, and they're on a holiday vacation. Skiing, of course, the title, Downhill. And on the first day of their trip, they encounter this, I guess you would say, terrible event where there's a mini avalanche. And Will Ferrell's character, instead of covering up for his family and trying to protect them, he runs away and leaves them there to be like covered in snow. And Billy, Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character, is put off, of course, by it. Feels betrayed in a way. Feels like he's a coward. And this is the plot of the movie. Now, when I went into this thinking this was going to be Will Ferrell trying to crank it up comedy, and this was very much a drama-D, I guess you could say, because it was trying to be funny, maybe in some spots. Very dryly played, awkward, all over the place. Not a great script. Not a great script at all, I would say. Very written in a way that was very much like a play, and maybe it was based on a play, I don't know. But from a movie standpoint, this was ugly for Will Ferrell. This was not Will Ferrell. You know, Will Ferrell makes movies that are rock out funny, where you just laugh it out loud. And then he makes movies that are kind of like, what is he doing? And that's kind of what I got with this movie. This was a what is Will Ferrell doing movie. Did I like it? I mean, for the longest time I was like, it did keep my interest. I'll say that. I'll give it that. It kept my interest throughout it, but it was just like where you're like barely going in and out of interested. That's where I was with this movie. Recommended? Heck no. It's not recommended. Is it a terrible, ghastly, awful movie? Not really, because it does have a story, but it's just a very slow story. So I would say it's not very good, but I don't know that it's the most awfulest thing ever. I mean, there was some moments in it that were decent. So out of 5 stars, I'm going to give it 1.5, which would be bad. Not terrible, sort of somewhere between terrible and bad. Clearly, it's not recommended. I'm not sure what it was trying to do, what story it was really trying to tell, except of a man who has a cowardly act on a mountain in front of his family. And, how does he redeem himself, or how does he elevate himself back or get himself back into his wife and his family's good graces? That seems to be the gist of the story. I mean, it probably was more of like a short story I say that a lot about movies that I see these days, that they just drag them out. I mean, this wasn't like it was exceedingly too long, but some of the scenes were just dragged out to where it's like, okay, we get it, it's uncomfortable, you're trying to make it uncomfortable, but do we need like 4 or 5 scenes like that? I don't know. And it seemed like a very unfun family vacation that was sort of forced to be a vacation, where like nobody in the family was having a good time. And it just, I don't know, wasn't funny, and it wasn't, from a dramatic standpoint, particularly dramatic. So it was like in the middle. I don't know where that fits, but for me, 1.5 out of 5 stars. Bad, somewhere between bad and terrible. Not recommended. I don't know that I'd even pay attention to it on the streaming circuit. Don't think this is going to sell a whole lot of tickets. There was 2 other couples in the theater with me. Didn't hear a single laugh, didn't really hear much of anything because there really wasn't any funny moments. Downhill, I am Todd, moviereviewsbyus.com. Pretty rough of the 4 movies seen, pretty rough week out there. Sonic was leaps and bounds ahead of the rest of the competition. Sonic races ahead this week to be the only one I'm recommending, the only movie out of the 4. Sonic the Hedgehog. So, if you got your choice between this and Sonic the Hedgehog, go see Sonic. I'm Todd, moviereviewsbyus.com. Thank you for watching.